So we've covered a lot so far, and I want to put all that we've learned so far into practice. So in this lesson, we'll be going through the creation of this basic business card design. So we'll be using shapes, we'll be using fonts, we'll be using some icons that we get from the internet. So let's go. So we're going to go up to File, New, right? And we're going to change it from pixels to inches and set our resolution to 300 as we always do. And now that we're creating a business card, so a standard business card is 3.5 inches or 3.5 inches by 2 inches tall, right? So 3.5 inches wide by 2 inches tall, 300 resolution, hit create. So there we have our basic canvas for our business card. So in this lesson, you'll notice that I'll be going back and forth, referencing the business card, and we'll be working, right? And as you can also see, this business card is two-sided, right? So we're going to create one side and then the other side. So we're going to start off by creating what we would call the front side, which is this side that doesn't have a lot of information, and then we'll move on to creating the reverse side that has the contact details, email address, website address, and so forth, right? So let's go. So the name of this business is called Generative Corporate Business. So let's grab our text tool or type tool, click once on screen, right? I'm going to grab my move tool, move it over a bit, grab my type tool, select on the inside, Control A to select all, or I can just click at the edge and drag it, or you can triple click like bam bam bam, 1 2 1 2 3, right? So multiple ways to select everything, and we're going to call it generative. Let me check. Generative, right? And we notice it's all caps, so we're going to go to our characters and click our all caps, and then we're going to select a suitable font. So in this case, I'm going to use Bebas New, right? It's a sans serif font and it's pretty close. Alright, so of course we may not have the exact fonts. We're going to use fonts that are close enough to give this a similar feel, right? So generative. So as you can see, there's a portion of the text that is black and the other half is gray. So we're going to do that right away. So make this black, hit OK, and then select the other half. Go back to our font colors, or we could also do it here, and then we're going to make this gray. Generative, hit apply, hit our move tool, and then move this out of the way, scale it down a bit, right? Hit OK, and then I'm going back to reference corporative business. So corporative business. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click this layer, hit duplicate layer, hit OK, and then I'm going to hold shift and click it and move it down, and then I'm going to type corporative business. So that's CORPORATIVE space business, right? And just before I hit apply, I'm going to select all again, and I'm going to size it down. Let's set it at 36, no, maybe about 14, and hit apply for now at least, right? So go back to our reference. So as you can see, the generative and corporative business, they're pretty much the same length, right? So those are some important things to pay attention to. So those are some important things to pay attention to when doing designs, right? So I'm going to put this, line it up with the beginning of the generative, and then stretch it until it pretty much lines up with the end. So we have something looking similar. Alright, zoom out a bit to see what's going on. Alright, looking good so far. Right click this. Let me see if we can perhaps find a slimmer font. You know what, let's leave it as is for now. Alright, so as you can see, this is smaller than what we have here, the relative size of it. So we're going to select both of them. So hold shift, select both layers so that we have a selection of both layers, and I'm going to scale this in a bit, right, about this. And then we're going to attempt to recreate this logo, right? So as you can see, this logo is pretty much some circles. So 1, 2, 3 circles, right? So I'm going to grab my ellipse tool, go to my shapes and select ellipse, and we're going to start with the outer circle, which is the black circle, and then we'll move to the white, then the blue. So black circle, change the stroke to none and the fill to black, and we have our black circle, right? So we have this ellipse here. So instead of repeating the process of grabbing the ellipse tool and drawing a fresh circle, we can actually utilize this circle that we've already created. So I'm going to go to this ellipse layer, which is this circle here, and I'm going to press Ctrl J, or you can right click and duplicate layer. So Ctrl J is just a shortcut to duplicating layers, right? So with that selected, I'm going to select the tool, and I'm going to select the fill, and I'm going to change it to white, and then hit the move tool, and I'm going to zoom in. So I'm holding Alt and I'm zooming in. So I have a white layer here. Hold Alt again, hold the edge, hold Alt, so that we can scale proportionally, right? And we're going to reference our image. So as you can see, the circle here is sort of offset to the right, right? So I'm going to move that to the right a bit. So select it using my arrow keys, moving it to the right. And then we're going to repeat that process of duplicating this white. So that's duplicate layer. And this time I'm going to change the fill to blue. So now we have 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. Right? So with this topmost circle selected, I'm going to select the ellipse tool again, and this time I'm going to change the fill to a light blue, right? And we can match the colors more accurately after we get the main stuff out the way. And of course, ensure that the stroke is on none. We don't want any stroke, right? Hit the move tool, and we're going to scale it down again proportionally. So select that layer, hold Alt, grab the edge, and scale it down proportionally. And that's pretty much it. Hit apply, and there we go. We've successfully recreated this logo, right? So if I wanted this exact blue, all I would need to do is select the color swatch here. I'll get this eyedropper, and I can click it, and I'll get this code here, this color code here. So I can copy it, copy this color code, hit OK, go back to our design, select the shape, select the ellipse tool, and then in the fill section, click it, and then you'll click the color picker here, and then we're going to Ctrl V or right click and paste, and we now have that shape. Sorry, we now have that color. Hit OK, and there we go. We've successfully copied the exact color that's around there, right? So we're good to go. So now we're going to group all of this. So we're going to select this ellipse, hold shift, select the top one, and then we're going to right click, and we're going to put it into a group, right? So, and we're going to call this group logo. All right, so everything here is the logo, right? So if we were to try and move this right now, we'll notice that we'll be moving the individual elements. So one of the things that I like to do to groups, I like to often convert it to a smart object. So with that group selected, which is everything that's in that group, right, I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to hit convert to smart object. And what that does, it groups everything that was selected, and it gives us pretty much a link to a new document that houses everything. So let me explain. Let me show you. So I'm going to double click this, and as you can see, it takes me to a new Photoshop document right here called logo that holds everything as one, right? So this is our document, and this is pretty much now being treated as one smart object that houses all the different elements, the different shapes, right? So now I can move it around freely, and I can size it and so forth, right? So I'm going to size it down a bit, bring this over here, hit apply, and then go back to our image here to reference. All right, so that pretty much covers that right there. So as you can see, the edge has a black rectangle going along the edge, left edge, and we have two triangles towards the right, right? A dark gray and a blue. So I'm going to go back to our design here, and I'm going to grab another shape, and this time we're going to grab the rectangle tool, and we're going to make the fill be black. Then we're going to change it, click here, color picker. Instead of it being straight on black, we're going to bring it into the gray zone a bit. So it's gray now, hit OK, and now we're going to drag it along the edge just like this, let go, and bam, we have our edge here. But as you can see, we're getting a little red here, right? Because we have a red stroke turned on. So we're going to click the shape again, select our tool, and where we have the stroke, we're going to turn off the stroke. So hit this, our stroke has been turned off, and just like that, we're good to go. Right, so if we want to bring it in a bit, we can select it and move it to the right some more, and we're good to go. Right, so now we're going to grab another tool to create these rectangular or triangular shapes, right? So I'm going to use the pen tool, right? So we're going to manually draw this, right? So this is the same dark gray. So we're going to sample. So select the pen tool, fill. It's already on that dark gray. Stroke, turn off the stroke. And we're going to choose a point. So we're going to click here, then up, and then we're going to close that shape, right? And bam, we have our first triangular edge. And we notice that it was placed down towards the bottom here, so we're going to try to get it just right. So instead of that, I'm going to delete this, and we're going to go again. So let me see the starting point as well. So it starts about in the middle, and it goes down to the bottom right, bottom corner, right? So click our pen tool in the middle, and then about here, then we're going to go around and close our shape, and just like that, we've created that triangular edge. And we're going to do the same for the inside. All right, so the inner section, this is the middle, so it's crossing a little over the middle, right? And vertically, it's up to about the middle of the other one, right? So about here. So grab our shapes to our pen tool again, and this time we're going to ensure that it's on the same blue that we used for this circle. So again, we can select this, the fill, and here's a little cool tip. We can select the color picker and we can sample. So once we've selected a color picker, right, and we hover, we move off of it onto our document, we can sample any color that's on our document. This gray, this black, but in this case we want this blue. So we're going to sample the blue, bam, and here we have it. And then we hit OK. And then for the stroke, we want no stroke, and we're good to go. So we're starting just to the left of the middle, and we're going to go up about here, and then continue, and then down, and then we're going to close our shape. And just like that, we've successfully done it. But as you can see, this blue layer is on top of this gray layer. So all we need to do is just select this blue layer and bring it below it so that things begin to look right. But what you notice that there's another slightly darker blue shape that looks to me like it's below this light blue, right? So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate this and make it a slightly darker blue. So I'm going to right click layer, duplicate, right, and then I'm going to call this layer, so by double clicking it, I'm going to call this light blue, and then this one I'm going to call it dark blue, just so that we can easily identify it, right? And while we're at it, we're going to call this dark gray, right? So select dark blue, and we're going to use our mouse, our arrows on our keyboard, and we're going to press left, right, and then we're going to go back to our pen tool, select it, and then we're going to select our fill so that we can change our fill, select our color picker, and then we're going to just drag this blue into a darker zone like so. So this is the new color, this is the previous color, this is the new color. Hit OK, and just like that, we've successfully changed the color of the layer below, right? So we can move this up a bit, and so far it's looking fine, right? As a good rule of thumb in designing, of course, you always want to save. So we're going to go to File and then Save As. We're going to go to our graphic design folder right here. We're going to call this Business Card Side 1. Side 1. Hit save. Right, great. Alright, so let's see what else is missing. So we have our logo, we have the shapes, now we need this QR code. So all we're going to do is just go up to Google, we're going to type QR code. Alright, so we have a random QR code right here, right? Ideally, for business cards, you would want to generate a specific QR code, but for demonstration purposes, we're just going to grab one for this, right? But you would want to generate a QR code that is specific to your business, your website link, or your number, or your WhatsApp, whatever you use the QR code for, right? Or a promotion that you have going on. So we're going to just grab this QR code, copy image. I think this one may not work because the background is transparent. So I'm going to grab another one that has a white background. Let's work with this. And copy image. Go back to Photoshop. Go back to our business card design. Select this layer because we want to add it above it. Remember, anytime you're pasting in something inside Photoshop, you want to select a layer that you want to paste it above. So if I select this layer and I paste, I'm going to paste it immediately above it, right? Something to always remember. So I'm going to select this layer, go up to edit, and then paste. So this layer is sitting above my gray layer here. Alright, so I'm just going to size it down a bit. And hit apply. And just like that, we've successfully created the main concept behind this business card. Right? So that's how you do that. I'm going to now move on to how we accomplish side 2. Alright? See you in that lesson.